The S&P 500 daily cloud chart shows the bottom of the cloud 26 bars back concerning this lagging line to be at 4338.68 and get above that bottom of the cloud. The closest level to the upside for the cloud is the conversion line 4349.83. And the first closest level to the upside is the top of the bottom range in light blue at 4325.28. Get above that and price is back into no man's land. After that, it's the weekly diamond bottom line 2 right above the broadening top line here in dashed red, so it has to get through that first, and that weekly diamond bottom line 2 is at 4330.13. That purple line right above the bold dashed red line, and that bold red dashed line for Monday starts the day at 4312.47, so it has to get through that first before it attacks the other level and the bottom of the cloud. Get past the weekly diamond bottom line 2, and there's the pitchfork level 2. That's this line here in solid red. And for Monday, that's at 4337.12, so that's the closest level to the bottom of the cloud, which is at 4338.68, 26 bars back. And there's a new ongoing demand line, which for Monday is at 4243.60. So there's 3 ways to qualify that. The open would have to gap down below this bar for the 29th and then subsequently close under the demand line 4243.60, or it could just open under 4243.60 and then close under it, and that would qualify it. And if price skyrockets and ticks higher than 4377.31 and then subsequently turns around and heads below the ongoing demand line 4243.60 and closes below that, it will qualify that way too. So 3 ways to do it. And 2 more higher lows, then the zigzag pattern will have a swing point, and it will be anchored at this D wave up wave 4 and D wave down wave 3 right here. And that's a possibility. As I tried to follow zigzag, it's almost impossible, but that would be pretty close. 2 or 3 more days of higher lows, and we'll get a swing point. And a close higher than this close, 4273.53, 4 bars back, would have the price flip to the sell setup count 1. So if things stay the way they are, we could get that at the open for Monday, the price flip to the sell setup count 1. And then we'll need the royal flush to print the sell setup 9 end count. And if that does that up here somewhere, it doesn't necessarily have to be that high, as long as each successive close remains higher than the 4 bars back. We'll print that sell setup end count 9, and that will negate this combo buy countdown. And that will be one less thing to watch out the corner of one's eye for more downside price action if it happens. 200-day EMA is pretty much going flat, and it's at 4265.31. And then the 100-day simple moving average in blue right here is right on top of the baseline, just about 4386.18 baseline, 4389.73. And the channel 3 high is right there along with the baseline. And the Bollinger Band midband is in the area too. But then at first it has to get through the upper Stark band, 4368.87. And this disqualified by risk level, 4290.16, from this still valid by countdown complete 13, could become qualified and confirmed on Monday if there's an open lower than this close from the 29th, then ticks lower than this low from the bar on the 27th, and then closes below this close for the bar on the 29th, all on Monday. And if that happens, then this level becomes qualified and confirmed, and we'll be looking at more downside levels. So this long-term oversold down is right around that area, 4238.63, that very important area. And then under there is the qualified and confirmed 100 propulsion exhaustion down, and then way at the bottom is the disqualified sell TDST 4151.21. So if this becomes qualified and confirmed, we'll be looking down here, and if that qualified and confirmed happens for Monday and coincides with a qualified demand line that we just looked at, and that's pretty much a given, we're headed down to this area here. And the Shanghai momentum indicator is pretty low, negative 52.57. It could go down to negative 75. That would be the absolute limit of tolerance to the downside. And the fast trigger up did cross above the oversold line at 25, and that's common. It could race up to the overbought line, and then we have to really keep an eye on the slow trigger here to see if it can get above the oversold 25 line. And if it does that while the slow trigger is up here, then I would expect the ATM pressure up to lift off of -2 and start heading up also. That's all if the slow can get above the 25 oversold and the fast trigger remains up here, similar to what happened back here when everything was in the basement somewhat. Fast trigger up stayed up there for a while. The slow trigger came above 25, and eventually the pressure down tried to lift off of its negative section down here, but never really amounted to much, and then collapsed back to -0.2.